Hello everybody, welcome to Lightning Round. I am Tony and today I have something special for you. A showdown between the BougeRV PC35 and BougeRV PC35 Pro. This is a challenger, the new kid on the block. We're going to find out if this upgrade is worth your money. Stick around. Alright, let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the differences. As far as dimensions, these two are exactly the same size. Nothing has changed. These are 21.6 inches long by 11.8 inches wide and 11 inches tall. Both of them exactly the same. Cosmetic wise, you can see you have a yellow vent also in the back and a yellow handle. Here on the Pro, everything's blacked out, murdered out. No color except on the BougeRV logo. You still get the yellow O, but that's about it as far as color. Now, spec-wise, these two are the same, but different.
Same, but different. But still same.
So they both push out 3500 BTUs, but the way they do it differs. So the PC35 Pro uses an inverter compressor, which is more efficient. The old school PC35 uses a fixed speed compressor. So it's always working at the same RPM all the time. Now, I said this one's more efficient, about 274 watts on sleep mode compared to 560 something watts on sleep mode for the old school one. This one is a lot lighter. This is 22 pounds. 22 pounds compared to 34 and some change. So you can really feel the difference. This one, much easier to move around. This one is a bit chunkier, harder to move around. Now they both run on AC power only. No batteries for these. They both use the same touchpad control. They both have the same exact modes. They both have Bluetooth, so you can control them via the app. They both claim IPX5 splash resistance. They both claim around 50 decibels of noise when in use, and we're going to be testing all of that. All right, first up, we have the PC35. As you can see, I have it plugged into my Jackery. It's a 1500 Jackery. It's already plugged in. You might be able to see the LEDs right there. We're going to power it on. We're going to see how much power it uses. There it is. Alright, it is running on normal cool mode, 77 degrees. And the Jackery is showing a cool of 596, slowly ramping up. We're in the 600s. And yeah, you can feel the air, the cool air. I'm going to try to lower the temperature. So that's as low as it goes, 61 degrees. And the Jackery is telling me we are using 654 watts. And yes, you can feel the air cooling. You can also feel the hot air pushing out of the back. So this thing is working. It's working nice. Alright, let's change the mode. Let's put it on sleep mode to see how low it goes. There's sleep mode. Changes the temperature to 75 degrees. You cannot adjust it from there for sleep mode. And again, still getting cool air. Still pushing out hot air out of the back. Fairly quiet. It's quieter than a window unit, I'll say for sure. And on sleep mode, we are using we're still in the 650s. So the Jackery is telling me we are using 652 watts. But again, we're still pushing out cold air, and that compressor is working. Fixed speed, no change out of the back. Alright, let's try our turbo mode. There's turbo mode. Temperature changes to 61. The fan ramps up. And we're at 680 watts on turbo mode. Again, the fan speed changed. I can feel the cool air. The compressor's still pushing out hot air. No changes to the speed on the back side of the unit. Let me check. Yep, I saw 690. So that's the highest I've seen so far. 690 watts for the old school model PC35. But again, the unit works. I'm going to shut it down, and we're going to look at the Pro and compare that. Alright, we're back with the Pro. I'm using the app because it's giving me, the touch panel is giving me some issues. So let's turn it on using the app. It's on cool mode. Temperature is at 77 degrees. You can hear it ramping up. I'm getting a breeze out of the front. It doesn't feel cool like the other one did. Okay, there we go. It's starting to cool. And it's off. I'm thinking it's this panel. Let me try it again. There it goes. Alright. Cool mode, 77 degrees. Ramping up. Let's see what the Jackery has to say about the power consumption. Wow, that's low. 140 ramping up. 150. I'm starting to feel the cool air. I will say, maybe still ramping up. It doesn't feel as cool as the other model, but it's slowly getting there. Now out of the back, compressor's working, but it's barely pushing out hot air. So it's easy to tell this is more efficient. The air out of the back is not as hot as the original model. Let's check back in with Jackery, and we're at 259 watts. Now let's lower the temperature. I'm not even going to touch that. I'm going to use the app, and it shut it down. Alright, there we go. 61, cool mode. Ramping up. 180. It does take a little longer to crank up and start pushing out the cold air. There it goes again. Let me disconnect it, plug it back in, see if that does anything. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to put it on sleep mode now. Sleep mode, 75 degrees, can't adjust it. This one to me is a little louder. Not sure why. Even the slightest pressure changes the sound a bit. Getting a little bit of a rattle out of the front. It is pretty quiet. It's barely pushing out cool air though. There it is. It's cooling down more. Out of the back, warm air at best, not hot like the other unit. But yes, I am getting cool air. 75 degrees. Getting a weird rattle though. Like, The other one didn't sound like that. And there it goes again, shut down. I didn't even get to see how much power it was using. Let's try it again on the app. Powered on. Compressor sounds a little weird. Power's off. Powered on. Sleep mode. Weird compressor noises. Come on. Alright, let's unplug it again. Just let the LEDs die out. Drain the power. Plug it in again. Power tone. Let me reconnect it on my app. It's connected. Turning it on. Now check this out. On the app, the image is not updated. It still shows the old school model. Huh. Okay, so it went back to normal cooling. Let me put it on sleep mode. Sleep mode, 75 degrees. Ramping up. Look at the Jackery. 180, 190, 200. Slowly climbing. Again, I'm getting cool air out of the front. Barely warm air out of the back. It's just a little higher than room temperature. And that's because it's using a lot less electricity. So it's not creating as much heat, obviously. But yeah, this one is a bit louder, and it died again. Alright, let's just move on to the next part of the test. Turbo mode. Let's see if we can get it to stay on long enough to remain on turbo mode. So there's turbo mode, 61 degrees. Everything's ramping up. The fan is at full speed now. So is the compressor. It's pushing out a lot more air, but it's not getting any hotter. And out of the front, it's not cold yet, but it's cooling down. There we go. Alright, let's look at this power draw. We're at 316, 320. Let's see if it climbs more. And this thing says 400 watts on the box. Not quite there yet. 330. Cool air. Warm air. In my opinion, it's louder than the old one. Yeah. Alright, so let's see where the final numbers are. 350. 350, and there it goes. Alright, quick disclaimer. I did use this on a camping night. It did rain. It got splashed on. Not too bad though, but I'm thinking that might be why this control panel is acting up. Okay, so we're back with both units. My personal final verdict, I did contact BougeRV about the control panel. They were really nice about it. They gave me two options. I could either get a replacement unit, send this one back, get a new one, and see how the new one works out. Or I can send this one back and get a full refund. So they didn't give me any issues there. Me personally, I'm gonna go with the refund, and let me tell you why. This one is lighter, 22 pounds compared to 34 and some change. I like the look of this one a little better. I like the whole blacked out look. It does consume less power, but in my comparison, This one pushes out a bit cooler air, if that makes sense. I know they're both 3500 BTUs, but this one just felt cooler faster. I also found this one to be a little quieter than the Pro. The final nail on the coffin for the Pro, in my opinion, is the price. This thing is $569.99. This one I got on sale for $299.99. So this is under $300. This is $570. And for the upgrades that it has, I just personally, I can't justify paying almost double for the Pro model as opposed to the old school model. So I'm going to be sending this one back and getting a refund. I will be keeping the old one. Again, they're both 3500 BTUs. If this one pushed it to 5000 BTUs, I would consider it. I would give it further consideration. I would probably keep it, but right now, with them both pushing the same amount of cooling, I would have to stick with the sub 300 one. Now, when it comes to power consumption, I was very impressed at how efficient this one is. But at the same time, in my case use, we usually go to campgrounds when we go camping. So we have shore power, just because I'm in LA, Lower Alabama. And there's not a lot of places where I can go overlanding or dispersed camping. Even then, if I went dispersed camping, I'm going in my Lightning. My Lightning has a 132 kilowatt usable battery, so I can plug either one, run it the entire night, the entire weekend, because we usually camp for weekends, Friday to Sunday. So I can run it off of the truck's battery with no issues, maybe a couple percent for the entire weekend. So efficiency is not really my concern. I'm not going to be running it off of the Jackery. I'm going to be running it off of the truck, which can power this thing for days. So I'm going to be keeping this one. I personally couldn't justify the price increase, paying almost double for just a couple minor upgrades, which were it being lighter. It claims to be a bit quieter. I didn't really experience that. And just it being more efficient. In my use case, I don't really care much about efficiency because I'm either running offshore or off of my giant power bank, which is my truck. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Comment below, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. And any questions you have, please put them down in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.